Hey everybody, welcome to another Lunch with Jim and Aaron. Did we do one last week?
I think so. I'm not
This week has
100%
been
though.
This week has been redonkulous.
This is a hell week. I've worked probably 3 15-hour days this week.
Just from, if you recall, we were going to go live with Club Bald Move this week. We did not because when we had everything kind of worked out on our staging server, but what we didn't know, because there was really no way to test, is when we went live with the security certificate to make our shopping cart experience work, it just fucking put its fist into our nut bag and repeatedly punched the feed's nut bag and caused a whole bunch of problems with feed validation, and it was bad. So we rolled all that stuff back. We're going to try to get next week. But yeah, it's been I didn't get into podcasting to keep wrestling with technology on a day-to-day basis.
Neither did I.
But we've added a lot of, the Club Bald Move stuff. We got a new recording station, which we're excited about. We're going to try to probably starting next week switch to all of our stuff that we do live in the studio to what did they call that? YouTube live events. Yeah,
live events instead of Hangouts. It'll give us better video quality, better audio quality.
You should notice that our video is a hell of a lot less choppy.
I hope. Yeah. Have you watched any of the ones we've recorded?
I watched a few, and they've been pretty good.
Are they like rock solid?
Yeah,
30 frames like we should be getting.
Yeah,
good.
Because we got a beefier machine, and we also kind of streamlined some of our bandwidth issues. At least I have on my end. Yep. So hopefully we'll continue, because right now it's solid, but it's not as clear. I mean, Google Hangouts is just a little too crappy. What we're going to do to replace the Q&A aspect is we're going to have an integrated chat room, so you can actually talk in real time to us and to everybody else in the channel as well. Hopefully that'll be fun.
Yeah,
especially for live watches and things. Mm-hmm. So that's the news on that update. We have got a couple of Anchor stuff that we're going to do today. Mm-hmm. Number one, we're going to eat bugs. Now, sure. I thought you were just going to get bugs. You actually got chocolate-covered bugs.
You can't really just buy bugs at a store, at Jungle Gyms. I mean, you could go to like a bait shop.
No. I'm fairly certain
get, like, worms and crickets.
You can get just mealworms that are like tossed in some kind of like flavoring and stuff, but they're not like...
Maybe you can. No, I went ahead and got something a little more palatable.
Well, if this doesn't kill us, then maybe we can step up to the real stuff. Because I'm guessing that these things are going to taste essentially like Nestle's Crunch.
Yeah, so we've got... Jesus,
this is ant candy.
Ant candy, which is blurry.
I don't know what kind of ants are talking about, but I can't imagine that this is going to taste anything less than like just white chocolate.
Why is this so blurry?
Because we turn autofocus off.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, so white chocolate with ants, and I imagine that's going to be super easy to eat.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to taste like Nestle's Crunch.
Yeah, a little popping in there.
What's interesting? Corn puff and grasshoppers. We'll find out.
I don't know. Apparently, these things are a really good source of protein, like insects.
Yes, insects are a very good source of protein.
For the amount of mass they have, I also got these.
You've seen Snowpiercer, right?
I have, yes. So these are, a little bit bigger bugs. These are grasshoppers and mealworms coated in chocolate.
Louis Rules says, "What is this? Lunch with Jim and Aaron or Fear Factor?" Little column A, little column B,
a little of both. Nothing wrong with.
Like I said, I'm not anticipating this thing to taste anything less than like high grade baking white and dark chocolate.
No, I agree.
Boom. Here we go. In fact, one of these things is broken in half, and
you see ants in it.
I cannot see ants in it.
Are we sure that these are actually what they say to be?
This could just be a vanilla wafer, and I'm going to try to bisect it a little bit more.
Let's do...
Fuck it. Oh.
How's it going?
Oh, I got a little anti piece.
Oh, you can tell?
Oh, yeah.
They're popping and clicking in your mouth?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No, it's like...
nice big half chunk there.
I describe it like a white Nestle's Crunch with
I think I got all chocolate.
I wouldn't surprise me. There might just be one ant per thing. Yeah, fuck this shit. Give me some of the mealworms.
All right, here.
This one. This is
and there are mealworms. Try to save at least one cricket for me.
This is recognizably a bug. This thing here.
So that one had an ant in it.
This thing
That's
here
not bad.
is just a mealworm coated in white chocolate.
Mm-hmm. How's it going? That's a crunch. I don't like the flavor of that, and I don't know. See, I got
Nestle's
these out
Crunch.
of I got these out of the bargain bin.
I'm not
Like
gonna
the-
lie that the mental knowledge of what I'm eating is kind of making me gag a little bit
All right.
because like
Yeah.
it's not just like, oh, this is puffed rice or whatever. It's like there's bug parts in my mouth now.
I think the chocolate just tastes bad on these.
It's not the greatest. Did you get white? I like white chocolate. Did you get white chocolate?
I did. Yeah, but
Oh, see, I like white chocolate.
here's a big cricket. This is
All
gonna
right,
be fun.
I'm gonna try
save
the
that.
chocolate cricket
I'll eat the mealworm here.
because it's a lot of mealworm, man. But you can see.
Yeah, but it doesn't really taste like anything.
No, it doesn't.
other than
It's
chocolate.
When I started focusing in on like you know how it's like you got stuff stuck in your teeth and stuff. When I started doing the thumb, like that, but it's all mental.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It tastes exactly like a Nestle Crunch.
Yep.
All right, here's
a
a.
cricket.
How the fuck did we end up eating bugs? This was
We mentioned it like a couple weeks ago, didn't we?
on Lunch with Jim and A
I
run.
thought so.
I don't remember how we got here. It's not like anyone requested it.
No.
All right, here we go.
Cricket?
Here's first cricket.
Again, I can't even tell there's a bug in there.
I mean, yeah, it's Nestle Crunch, but like a
chocolate.
shitty version. Like,
Less crunchy.
what's the brand that's like it's not Crunch, it's like Crackle or something? Because Nestle's is decent chocolate. Then there's another company that like makes less. Maybe it's Nestle versus Hershey's. I can't remember which is the good one.
Could be. I don't
Yeah.
know. Those aren't bad.
No, I mean,
Those are. I don't think I would eat them as a snack because the chocolate on them is not very good. but,
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I
surprisingly.
literally can't tell that there's a bug in there.
I was thinking this would be like pretty high grade chocolate, but yeah,
I
the
guess not. It's
chocolates.
this company Hot Licks, and they have like lollipops with bugs in them,
Hmm.
where you can like they're translucent. You can see the bugs inside and stuff.
No, that why?
I don't know. Like I can't imagine a lollipop. You get to the center of that, and there's a bug there. Are you
Are you just
gonna
gonna keep
even eat the
licking it?
bug?
Yeah.
Or
Is it like tequila? You're not really supposed to. Everyone kind of knows you're not supposed to. This ant candy has, as far as I can tell, 1 ant per disc, and that's ridiculous.
yeah, and the chocolate is bad on those, like a weird bitter.
Maybe it's the formic acid from inside the ant.
Could be, could be. Maybe I will not survive this show.
You're
I
right.
have. Speaking of not
There
surviving
is-
the show, I have a big surprise for you.
Oh,
One more bug I got. Check this one out. This is the black scorpion.
you did. I did not know about this.
Are you ready to eat this one?
Are you fucking kidding
Are
me?
you ready to eat this one? Here, open this up.
This is dead, right?
Probably.
Jesus Christ.
Probably.
So we're going right from chocolate colored mealworms to a
this is
cooked and dehydrated Asian forest scorpion.
This is the true Fear Factor challenge here.
I don't know if I can.
I
do
am not
this.
going to eat this one. I will tell you right off the bat. There is no way in hell I will put that in my mouth.
What do I get if I do eat it?
Do you win? How much money do you win on?
I gotta
Fear
see.
Factor?
I gotta
Like
see how big this
$100,000?
is and whether it's still alive. Because
It's
it
fucking
wouldn't.
huge.
If it just starts hissing at me, it's over.
You were not going to have to
I'm
kill
flushing it down the
How
toilet.
would it be alive in a vacuum sealed?
Oh, for Christ! No, no! Look at that
Put that onto the
motherfucker!
camera.
No, you do it. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting that shit.
Yeah. Check that shit out.
That is massive, man.
You want to eat that one?
I was expecting, like, because I lived in Texas and we had these little bitty fuckers that, you know, I'm like, okay, if it's dried out, it's going to be kind of thin.
No,
and
my
that-
friend, that is a black Asian forest scorpion.
Oh God. Oh,
Thailand unique. is
Let me
the
see it.
brand.
I don't know. I don't
Let me
know.
see it?
Yeah, let me see it. Yeah, I was not expecting. Jesus Christ. So they've cut off the stinger.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to eat stingers. You know, I'll eat the claws.
It's got a weight to it. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
supposedly dried out, but this is like no joke. It's got a face.
Yeah, there's so do cows. You eat those. There is no way in hell that I would eat that, but I wanted to get it as a gag.
You know what? People have been wanting to know what we should do for predictions. you know, the little, you know, their people said, hey, Jim and Aaron, you should change your forum avatars. You should make prediction bets.
Oh,
This King Daddy
There's
of
no
predictions.
fucking way.
Whoever loses has to eat this fucking thing.
nope, not gonna happen.
You're
man.
not going to do it.
No way. Would you?
Yeah, if my pride got involved, it's because it's not. I know intellectually it's not going to kill me. I might throw
Sure.
up, and I don't know if that's going to be fun for the audience.
No, that wouldn't be.
Uh,
Seeing your reaction though when I presented to you was pretty awesome.
no, I don't. Again, I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting something half that size. I wasn't expecting the weight.
I think we should just put that up in the studio here.
I'm thinking
Put it
so.
up on a
Maybe
shelf and-
maybe remove the desiccant so it looks like more of a museum piece. Or do you think that like if it this desiccant's the only
might-
thing keeping it dead?
Yeah,
This is
it might
like
come back like Scorpion King style, and
It's
we're
like-
all fucked.
this is like something from Hellboy. Like you shattered a vase that contains Crota or whatever the hell that the Simiel. This is the thing that imprisons Simiel. Oh my god. Oh god.
Yeah, throw it up there on the shelf. Just that's a reminder of
I'm gonna have
Jim and Aaron
I'm
here.
gonna have Daryl.
Lunch with Jim and Aaron.
I'm gonna have it under the watchful eye of Daryl up there.
Oh, he'll keep us safe from it. Yeah,
Between Daryl and the Hound and Manning and Luck.
Angel Daryl. We still have the wings on him. That's kind of awesome.
Oh god. You know what? I'm pretty sure that what is the flavoring that the ant stuff is the actual ant.
Okay, then don't eat
It's-
ants. They taste terrible.
No, I kind of was dubious about that because ants do have that formic acid or whatever inside them. That's
Yeah, it's gross.
I mean, anteaters. What the fuck, anteaters? Of all
Yeah.
the bugs you eat, you decided to evolve adaptations specifically to allow you to eat the
Disgusting,
shittiest of bug.
bitter. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe they have something in like their saliva that interacts and makes it taste good.
Oh,
That could
so
be,
it's like they taste like ranch dressing to them.
Yeah.
All right.
maybe.
Well,
I don't really know.
Clever man, that Darwin.
That was fun though. I'm glad I bought that scorpion. That was an expensive scorpion. Guess how much that scorpion cost?
$10.
$9.
Mm.
It's pretty expensive for a bug that no one wants to eat.
No, I thought that was outrageous. I thought it was really going to be $5.
Now think about Fear Factor when those things are crawling around and you got to
Dude.
go eat them. Those
So-
people have
someone
stomachs
eating-
and will of steel.
Someone eating a live emperor scorpion now to me is, or like one of those hissing Madagascar cockroaches, because I've seen them live.
Uh-huh.
Putting one of those things in your mouth is just,
The guts. Like
again, it's not going to kill you, but the creep factor is high.
I used to think I might be able to do that if I went on Fear Factor. After seeing that thing in the flesh, no, I couldn't do
Yeah.
it. If it was crawling around and I was forced to eat like 10 of them, no way.
No,
No
especially
way.
since Fear Factor, like the purse on that was like 25 grand.
Yeah.
Like $1 million.
That's pretty big, but
Like
you know.
$100,000 I would eat. That's the thing. Like the thing that always cracked me up about Fear Factor is, you know, seeing this person choke down like 3 or 4 Madagascar cockroaches, and then the last guy just is like by the handful. You know, he only has to do one better than you.
that's will of steel. That is
So-
like
But that's so having a goal versus just like how many of these can I eat?
oh yeah, the first person to go.
Yeah.
you're kind of getting screwed.
Yeah. Because I just can't even imagine. You'd have to go to your happy
You can't
place.
stop eating.
It's like eating those blazing buffalo wings. Have you ever done that? You eat like
What, like BW3s or something?
well, I mean, I don't know. I've never had their hottest, but if you go to like and get the hottest,
Oh, I've had Thai food before. Thai hot is what they call it, and it is fucking hot.
yeah. But I remember just once because I was tired of my brother giving me shit. I ordered like 6 of the hottest wings at this one establishment.
Why was he giving you shit?
Oh,
Do you eat like mild or something?
because he ate like, and I just wouldn't try it because it's like, you know, it's like, no, I don't like pain. I don't
Sure.
like food related pain.
Mhm.
And I'm not, but he was giving me because he'd eaten one and like, you know, he's like, oh, you're this and you're that. So I
To be
ordered
fair,
6.
He's a fireman, so
Not at the time. At the
Oh,
time, he was
okay.
just a 17-year-old punk.
he was training. You know, gonna eat some hot
That's
shit
right,
so
that's
that when I
right.
get in these burning buildings,
He's fireproofing
I'll
himself.
be immune.
Uh,
It's like iocane powder.
but yeah, I knew I was in trouble the second that my lips hit the buffalo wing.
Mhm.
But I just did not stop eating because once you stopped eating, that's when the pain really began. Like as soon as you started breathing in, and
Mhm.
it's miserable, man. It's like getting maced in the face. But What were we going to talk about for like reels?
I think we were going to talk about some of our favorite shows as children.
Ah, yes, this was something the Bowman came up with on the forums, I believe. So
Yeah, and I liked it. Liked it a lot.
now, standard caveats apply. We didn't get to see a lot of the stuff.
Oh, I figured that'll be interesting to talk about too.
Okay, all right.
The shows that we missed because we grew up in a weird environment.
And we got like a 5-year gap between us too. So stuff that I was able to see is probably different from stuff you're able to see. So what's your fondest childhood show?
DuckTales. DuckTales, man, that was the shit.
DuckTales, the whole Disney afternoon, because I had a brother, I have a sister who's about 5 years younger than me, and then a brother who's about
my age.
4 years younger than her. That's something all three of us could watch. Like as a 13-year-old, DuckTales was just as entertaining as it was to the, I guess you'd be 9 years old, 8 years old.
Something like that, yeah.
And then, as we got a little bit older, they started doing stuff like Gargoyles. I still think Gargoyles is awesome.
I wasn't allowed to watch Gargoyles because of the weird magic shit involved in Gargoyles.
My mom and my dad, so my mom went back to work once. I think my little brother was in school.
Okay.
And so he was like 6 and my sister was like 11 at the time. And I was like 15 or 16 and I was in charge. Okay. And we had this pact where we just weren't going to, we watch whatever we watch within reason, I think. It's like, as long as all three of us wanted to watch it, we could work it out. So I was able to watch Gargoyles and my mom was none the wiser. So
was this like on weekends? Did you go to work then?
No, she worked during the week. She worked Monday through Friday.
You weren't at school, or
I
after
was.
school?
Yeah, it's always after school.
Okay.
Don't show cartoons during the day.
Well, they do on like Saturday mornings. I was wondering if
Saturday mornings. I didn't see hardly any of the magic stuff there.
Sure.
But
all right, that's just one I don't have much experience with.
For adult shows, probably my all-time favorite show as a kid was MacGyver.
Yeah.
And I got way into MacGyver when I was in 3rd grade. A lot of kids were into MacGyver. And there was a group of us that was like 5 or 6 kids that had like special lunch boxes where we'd keep batteries and copper wire. And at the time, they had these like Hot Wheels, but I think they were called Stompers, that they were like motorized Hot Wheels. And they were like monster trucks that operated on like a single AA battery.
Okay.
And we took them apart to get the motors out of it to build like little machines and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were always trying to like take things down to the next, strip the wire out of it. And our holy grail was to get a battery taken apart because,
it's dangerous.
In our minds, there was like full of acid and we could do you could melt through a lock with that shit or, battery acid. It's got to be useful, right?
Yeah.
So, and we'd only get to work on these during indoor recesses, which happened fairly frequently in the Midwest, especially, like during November through February. Half your recesses are indoor recesses. And I guess the teachers just weren't paying attention to everything we're getting up to. But this one dude's name is Chris. Fuck it. His last name's Baines. Chris Bain. I still remember to this very day.
Instigator.
He was at the forefront of battery technology. And he brought in a D cell. And we were excited because so the other thing we learned is like if you peel the coverings off of a battery, so it's just like the nickel plating or whatever the hell that is, that they would generate especially if you'd like connected the positive and negative to a copper coil, that it generate warmth. And we were using these to like heat our gloves
because they're about to explode. Yeah,
sure. So he got this D cell, which got us some decent amount of leverage on this thing, and he's able to fit one of his from his other school box, one of the sides of the scissors. I don't know what you call these, the blades of the scissors underneath the cap. And he'd been working on that all recess long, and he was about to get like, there's this, if you're taking a battery apart, there's essentially a big zinc rod that is shoved into this battery acid paste, and that's what generates the electron flow. So he had it about this far out of the cap.
Oh god.
And he was getting impatient, as a third grader does. And he had it wedged in there, and he grabbed it in his hand, and I still remember this like as if it was today. And he started going like bang, bang on this side of the scissors. that cap popped out
Oh no.
and went directly into his eye.
Oh no. Is he blind to this day?
He started screaming.
Uh-huh.
My teacher, Mrs. Myers, that was a bad year for Mrs. Myers. Mrs. Myers wheeled in, like just months before, had wheeled in a TV cart to show the first teacher being launched into space. This is something we did to the whole fucking school. And as the shuttle was launched into space, it exploded. And she suddenly had 20 plus kids screaming.
Oh
she was bawling. She goes, shut off the TV. It's like, and then like, what do you do the rest of the day? The principal came on and gave this thing. And I don't know whether we got to, I can't remember if we dismissed early or what. It was crazy. So that happened to her. And then we did this to her. She comes over. She's like, what is going on? And we're like, he's taking a battery apart and it got flipped up. She grabs Chris. There's like the sink in the back of the school.
Yep.
She turns on both faucets. And it's like, you know, the shitty public school faucets. And it's like, there's no like aerator in it. So it's just like, and she grabs both hands and just starts just bucketing water into this guy's face. And she's like trying to hold his eye open and just like this. And then she takes him down to the nurse, and there's like, you know, us kids like sitting there for 10, 15 minutes because she's down there and there was like no teacher watching us. And we're like, what happened? Chris
started taking apart batteries.
We want to get more of that. So next day, Chris comes with a patch. And like a week later takes it off, and like the white part, is that called a sclera of your eye?
I don't know.
Is like a R Studio orange, half of it, where it irritated this, and like a month later he was fine.
So you could see, okay, he got lucky.
He was really good at sports, so I don't think it affected his hand-eye coordination later on in high school. But then our MacGyver lunchboxes were banned.
Yep.
No, they're banned. But we made a lot of interesting discoveries, like, you know, how many wiring parallel versus series, which gives you the bigger spark, because that was the other entertainment, trying to how big of a spark we could get between his wires.
Yeah. Wow.
But that was all MacGyver's fault. Richard Dean Anderson owes that kid's parents however much they had to spend at the emergency room or the ophthalmologist, because we would never have done that shit had it not been for MacGyver.
Sure.
Who that was his whole shtick.
Yeah.
MacGyver, was he like a special forces dude?
I don't know what he was.
Who hated guns. He would never use guns.
Yeah, he doesn't kill people.
I saw him use a gun for a wrench once. He like busted out the chamber of a revolver and put it over one of those big square nuts and like turned a gas valve. But he would make all kinds of things. Oh, yeah. And I like that there's a Mythbusters that kind of tests MacGyver isms. Sure. MacGyver stuff with like sodium and water. And all that stuff. I remember that episode. He filled up, I thought it was potassium. Maybe it was sodium. He took apart like a cold capsule, and then he filled it full of whatever that substance is, and then he's put it in a bottle, a glass mason jar of water, and put it against the door, and it just exploded like a fucking grenade. Yeah, blows a lock off or something. Yeah, that doesn't work quite that well in real life. The other thing that is actually not that long ago, maybe 5 years ago, is my brother and I were watching old episodes of MacGyver. Sure. And we came up with the character of MacGyver as being a Russian spy who is a little bumbling. And we were just, you know, dubbing over the MacGyver episodes with our own commentary. That was fun. Yeah. Did you record any of that? Nope. Oh, didn't record any of that. It'd be great. Have you seen MacGruber? I have seen MacGruber, yeah. I love MacGruber. Yeah, it's okay. No, it's one of my all-time favorites. It's okay. What else? So I mean, so I lump these shows together. MacGyver and Knight Rider. Okay, sure. MacGyver and the A-Team. I lumped together. A-Team is a little bit before my time, like slightly, but I got the reruns, I think. They just did an A-Team episode of Mythbusters like 3 weeks ago. What does that involve? Like, can you attach these pipes and rods to a car? Yes, you can. So they did a couple things where there's a specific episode where they turned a forklift into a 2x4 launching cannon by hollowing out a log and filling it full of propane and launching out 2x2s or 2x4s. And then there's also an episode where they filled a sewer line full of explosives, and when the bad guy drove over it, they blew it, and the manhole cover actually hit the car and flipped it over. Because that's the thing about A-Team was all non-lethal.
Yeah.
Like on all these shows were because they're all like primetime family friendly things, but like, you know, massive carnage, but no fatalities, like G.I. Joe. You can blow up a tank, but right before it blows up, 2 guys have to scamper out. You can blow up a plane, but you got to see a parachute.
Yeah. And
you can shoot guys, but it's got to be like hit them in the armor or something. No one can die. So they did the things like, you know, why wouldn't they just use direct application of explosion? And they did that, like the equivalent amount of C4, and it just destroyed the car. And it was lethal damage. And then they did the sewer pipe, and it turns out that that is actually a non-lethal strategy. And then they tried the forklift thing, and that just didn't work because you can't get, you'd have to like encase the 2x2 in some kind of Sabo round.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the propane just
leaks out around it,
just blows out, and it's just not focused.
Or you would need a barrel shaped like a 2x4, I guess.
But what they did is they turned Adam and Jamie loose into a shed that had been set up exactly like the thing that A-Team hold up on, and then they came up with an alternate weapon.
Okay.
Which was some kind of
cool
mass driver where it had like 2 rubber wheels that span at an insanely high, and they just fed a 2x4 and it just friction flung it, and it was terrifying.
That's awesome.
But yeah, you're right.
Knight Rider was an awesome
one. Did you throw Knight Rider in there? Because I don't
know.
Knight Rider and Airwolf are my 2 like invincible machines with the protagonists that drive them category.
See, mine was more like technology related. So like you got MacGyver making weird shit. You got A-Team making weird shit. You've got Knight Rider, who is Kit is a car who's kind of made to do these weird things. I don't know. I lumped them all together in my mind as like kind of the grown-up versions of the cartoons that I'm watching. You know, like DuckTales has Gizmo Duck, and you got that kind of technology angle. I was big into technology when I was a kid. I liked it.
Clearly, I was taking them apart batteries and making big sparks. So I feel you on that.
I was like into the new video games and computers, and I know you were too.
Sure. What I thought was cool, because I don't remember a lot about Airwolf other than the theme song, and then it's just very cool. I think I was a little bit young, and my dad really liked it. But Knight Rider, I remember very clearly. It's like it had all these mysteries of the week, but the cool thing was they had these massive cliffhangers at the end, where like, you know, Kit was the good car, and there was a bad car, the prototype of Kit named Carr, who had a much deeper voice, and he was just, I don't know why, but he was wantonly
and didn't
evil.
He like take Michael hostage at one point?
Yeah.
Like, he got into Carr thinking it was Kit, and then he took Michael on a crazy road trip.
And then there was...
Which he's in an invincible car, so what can you really do to Michael in that car?
Well, that's the thing. Like, then there was Michael Knight's evil brother, who was David Hasselhoff in a goatee. And then the one real cliffhanger was when Michael's evil brother got a semi and gave it the Kit molecularly bonded shell treatment, and
just started ramming shit, right?
Yeah, no, like it says that was Kit's favorite thing, the chicken. Like, because he was invincible, he could just drive right through you. He did that in the middle of like the desert with this semi called Goliath, and it fucked Kit up.
Yeah.
Like it fucked Kit and Michael up, and they were like, the frame was all bent, and there's like all these images of like Kit driving through the desert, like just can't drive straight, and he's spinning out, and Michael is all busted up. I can't remember how they beat that, actually. I wonder if Knight Rider got canceled, and that's why I don't remember how they beat Goliath. Because there's always something like Carr, they drove him through some kind of acid bath that denatured his molecular bonding, and they were able to fuck him up. And then at one point Kit got equipped with like a laser that was able to disable him, and each season Kit got cool new powers. Like he got the super pursuit mode where like a rocket engine would fold that.
Man, I just always liked the jump.
Really? Yeah.
I like turbo mode when he'd go real fast, and then every once in a while, like it seemed like every episode he was jumping something.
Yeah.
Every episode he would go full speed at something, get ready, and then boom, he would leap over it.
Dukes of Hazzard. Do you remember Bonnie? Bonnie was the mechanic that hung out in the cool ass semi that he pulled up into as their base operations, and she was super hot. One of my first childhood crushes.
All right.
Spent a lot of time in my youth talking into wristwatches.
Sure.
Kit buddy, I need to get out of here.
Yeah, that was also kind of a Dick Tracy thing for me.
Yeah.
Like the wristwatch communicator.
Sure. But the thing that's funny is like, so Kit was voice activated and sentient, kind of, but Michael always had to push buttons.
Sure.
Like when it's time to do the super boost, you had to push that button. The super but's like, what the fuck?
Well, you don't want to give the AI too much control.
Yes, you can talk.
You don't want to give it too much agency, otherwise
you can talk into a watch, and it will drive from the parking garage across the county and drive through the house to pick you up.
But do you really want a supercar jumping?
You don't
on
want
its own. You don't want that.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that like unless Michael was in it, had to obey all traffic laws until it got to like a yard, and then it could drive through a mansion and open up car doors on the bad guys and knock them out. But
yeah, those were a couple of my favorite shows, favorite live action shows. I have a lot of favorite cartoons, like, you know, everything in the Disney Afternoon, everything. Like,
did you ever watch the Nintendo stuff?
Show? Yeah, and the Zelda. Every Friday they'd have the Zelda cartoon come on.
Yes, that was my favorite.
Excuse me, princess.
Yeah.
Captain In.
I was about to go to Captain
In. Is fucking amazing.
I didn't like
Mega Man and Kid Icarus,
but they were like some fucked up weird version of.
They were. What was up with Mega Man?
I don't know.
I'm Mega Man.
He looked like the box art of Mega Man and not like the video game Mega Man.
You're right. Like a squashed down version of the box art.
And they had like the villains were the Eggplant Wizard and Mother Brain, who was another thing. Like, that's not the Mother Brain from Metroid.
No.
And I never liked that stuff. So I did like even Super Mario Brothers Power Hour, I didn't like because it was very kiddie. And at the time I was like 11 or 12. But I love the Zelda stuff because it was kind of done in a more serious. It wasn't lighthearted. Well, it was, but you know,
sometimes
it was very Zelda-ish.
Yeah, it got dark when Ganon was on the screen. Sometimes.
But Link looked like Link. There were skeletons and all that stuff.
And they used like the bow and rupees and stuff in really creative ways. I remember.
Sure.
And just like different enemies. You had all Ganon's underlings were the moblings, I think they're called, or whatever. The pig guys.
My son loved that because his first video game he ever played was Super Mario Brothers, the original for Nintendo. Because I kind of had this thing. It's like when he's 3 years old, I'll get an emulator and I'll start him out like on the basics and we'll work him up.
Sure.
So I remember flipping through Netflix one day and they had the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. And he fucking loved that thing. And I'm just like, oh my God. And they didn't have the Zelda portions, but they still did the pimping of the Zelda. Because like the last minute of every show that's like, don't stay tuned on this Friday. And they'd show like a clips package of what's going on next. And he wanted to watch that. I'm like, I don't know. I could check on YouTube, but he's 3. He's easily distracted.
Yeah.
But that show is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's bad.
I mean.
But it's also kind of like it's kind of great in its own way. You know? It's great in that cheesy...
legitimately liked it as a kid.
Yeah.
It didn't piss you off that the differences between the actual Mario video game. No, really?
No.
That bothered me. I was old enough to be discriminating.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was entertaining. Like I liked the cartoons a lot, and then when it went to the live action stuff, I was like, okay, this is funny. You know, these guys are getting into dumb scenarios, and I don't know.
Do you remember Buck Rogers?
No, that was definitely before my time.
Buck Rogers and the Bionic Man were staples of mine. And Buck Rogers was really cool because he had the really cool robot. I think his name is Twiggy. He did that. I can't do the noise, but it's like before he'd say everything. And they had really cool starships. And they had one particular episode where I don't know how Buck Rogers ended up on this planet, but it was dominated by this goat man. And that episode terrified the shit out of me. Like I've seen it because, you know, it's like, during the summer they'd be on rotation. So you'd burn through a whole season of a show in like 3 weeks. And every time that episode had come up, like I would watch it like from behind the couch because I could not handle how diabolical that goat man was. Same thing in Incredible Hulk.
Fucking goat man.
My dad loved the Incredible Hulk, the whole Lou Ferrigno deal.
Yeah, I love that show too.
And I like the Hulk too, but I couldn't stand David Banner transforming because it looked like it was so painful. And he's like, and his like clothes would rip. So I'd go hide while Hulk was transforming. And I'd come back in to watch the Hulk wreck shit. and then it was cool. But during the transformation sequences, I hid behind the couch.
Do you remember the Spider-Man live action show in the
on
70s?
Electric Company? Oh no, you're talking about the movies. Hell yeah, I do.
I think they were movies. Those were kind of amazing in a super cheesy way.
I was all in on those Spider-Man because
I lump those in with like the Incredible Hulk because they were very similar.
Sure.
Like other than maybe a budget, I don't know.
Well, I mean the budget but it was incredibly faithful to the Spider-Man mythos. I mean, Peter Parker was a smart photographer and he came up with his own web shooters and his the guy actually swung from ropes. Not a lot of Spider-Man action.
Yeah, what do you expect in the 70s?
Any given 2-hour movie, you'd have like 5 minutes of Spider-Man.
Sure. CG was a lot harder back then. Non-existent back then.
Oh boy. We'll take a little brief from reminiscing to say you guys talk.
Oh, before we get into this, if anybody has like a show that they want us to like cover, let us know. Not cover in, or if you want to podcast or anything, but just talk about it here.
Please do suggest
stuff that you grew up with. Like I'm curious what shows people love that maybe I didn't get to see or maybe I didn't.
There's a lot of stuff that I know I wanted to get into. Like there was a lot of like toy placement stuff, like Battle Beasts, Visionaries, Mask. Mask looks so fucking cool, but I couldn't watch it because
they
of
were
the
like the other
violence.
G.I. Joe, right?
Well, they were G.I. Joes, except for they're like a cross between G.I. Joe and Transformers, because every one of their vehicles could transform from like a car into a plane, from a motorcycle to a helicopter, like all this stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
Mobile Armored Strike Command, baby. Mask, spelled with a K.
Sure, we'll talk more about this. What's the question?
The question from Dan G. Dan Gordon said, "You guys talk about what you couldn't do or watch because of Jehovah's Witnesses. Were there any benefits at all to growing up as a Jehovah's Witness?" There were a few.
Like what?
Public speaking. I owe every bit of my I can get up in any arbitrary group of people and talk at any length, and I don't have any kind of nervousness or social anxiety. Because from the time I was 6 years old, it's kind of expected / required of you to get up and do these 5-minute presentations in front of the whole congregation on like Thursday nights.
Like a couple hundred people.
Yeah, a couple hundred people. And then like they kind of groom you. So if you have a knack for that or you show that you have talent, and it's organized as a school. Like they gave you a book that had like 70 different points of public speaking. You know, how to work up an outline and like, you know, what's the power of repetition and facial expressions, gestures. It's brainwashing. But like it's kind of like the Hitler boot camp of how to influence people and how to.
Yeah, no, it's effective. And it's something that I definitely value. I don't think I would be able to speak as confidently on, you know, these podcasts or in front of people at conventions and stuff if it weren't for that. Also, you go in what they call field service a lot when you're a Jehovah's Witness. And field service is, you know, when annoying people wake you up on Saturday morning knocking on your door
wanting to talk about God.
Yeah, that's us. And I did that for years and years. So it forces you to get out there, and
I did it for 90 hours a month for 2.5 years when I was a pioneer.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you had to get 83.
That's a special pioneer. That's
no. That's 120 hours a month.
Oh fuck! You were like an extra pioneer.
Just a pioneer. I thought it was 60. You got auxiliary pioneer, which is 60.
Okay. You got
regular pioneer is 90. It's actually 83.3 hours a month because they build in like 2 weeks of vacation.
Wow, that's generous of them.
Very generous of them.
You know, on top of your regular job, which you have to support your family and yourself.
Which that's what broke me. Like I got shit for it, but like I got married and I'm like, I got bills to pay, yo. I can't be banging on. I mean, like part-time job ain't cutting it. And I got shit for it. It's like, oh, have you really thought about counting the costs and put your faith in Jehovah?
Have you really thought about sacrificing your future education for this?
Have you thought about asking Jehovah to make the manna come back so I could just eat for free? Because that would help out a lot. But no, as a corollary to that, you're a massive outcast in any kind of school situation or any kind of situation where you have to deal with the world.
For a few reasons. Like the big obvious things are not saluting the flag during like national anthem, during the Pledge of Allegiance. You don't do
which
any
was
of that
big
shit.
in the school that I was at.
Huge,
like every day you stood up and you pledged allegiance, and I had
every day you'd sit in that chair while everybody around you did it.
Everyone except for you.
Yep.
Which is pretty tough for a 7-year-old. You couldn't go to the birthday parties. You had to go sit in the hallway.
That's the other big one.
Christmas parties, sit in the hallway,
or go to the library or something. And everybody notices that you're not doing the same things that they are,
right?
And they think that's fucking weird,
right?
And it is.
So you've got all that building up, but the positive side of that is I've never been a conformist because I had no chance to. You know, and I find very little social pressure to do anything. Like peer pressure, I'm almost immune. Like social graces is the one thing. Like I have a hard time, you know, violating those because, but as far as like, you know, looking a certain way or dressing a certain way or anything like that, fuck that.
Yeah, you know,
like the worst time for peer pressure is when you're a teenager, and I was already a different, because you know these kids grew up with me and they knew that I didn't do all these things. And then when you get to high school, you're not allowed to date anybody, you're not allowed to go any dances, you're not allowed to play any kind of sports in an organized capacity. You kind of got a little bit of a iron backbone when it comes to dealing with peer pressure shit.
Sure. I also found that it helped me with my interpersonal skills a little bit, because I would have to, you know, kind of pick up on everybody else's attitudes and kind of try to blend in a little bit more with the crowd than I would have had to had I not been part of that organization.
Yeah, that's sad, because looking back, I remember when, like, I transferred schools twice as a witness. Once when we moved down to Texas, and once when we moved back, because we moved back to different. And I remember thinking that it was so nice to be just a regular person until like the first holiday came around. I'm like, oh, God damn, I'll be outed as a fucking freak again. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that, by and large, you always had a steady group of friends. Like, you know,
sure, that we're kind of forced to
everybody at the hall, which is good and bad, because like there was such a wide variety of dudes, and we all just had to kind of get along. It was kind of cliquey. There was like one or two cliques, but
that's the thing it did for me is I just really get along with everyone, because I didn't ever have, you know, a solid group of friends at school that I could get along with. So I'd go to school and I'd have to get along with those people. And then I'd go to church and have to get along with those people. And it just, I think it made me fit in more easily with basically any crowd.
Yeah. I know my Bible really well.
You what?
I know my Bible really well.
Oh, is that a bonus?
I mean, I think it is. I think,
do you use that on the daily?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of the great works of Eastern civilization, and it's like a big part of one of three major religions in the world. So I feel like it's
sure,
you know, no, it's like it's usually a great way. Like if I got someone that's like all about being in the church, or like and wants to talk to me and from that basis as an atheist, it's a great way to really shut down, to demonstrate superior Bible knowledge. And like, if you want to bring it, we can bring it, or we can just go back to talking sports. You know, it's like, we can let this whole, I'm an atheist and I don't know what I'm talking about, and I haven't looked, or I haven't found the right religion. We can do that. We can keep doing this, and you can feel more and more stupid and uncomfortable. But yeah, that's it. Everything else, it's pretty much, I regret not going to college. I actually regret not joining the military. I would have absolutely joined the military had I not been a witness. I regret not voting for 10 years of eligibility.
Sure, there are a lot of downsides.
Yes.
I'm not going to pretend like, you know, this has given me some great advantage on society. It hasn't. It's done the exact opposite.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are, I guess, some advantages to it.
Sure. That generated a lot of commentary, maybe. Let's see. She is Geeky said, interesting perspective on the public speaking. I always felt the opposite. I'm not sure if it's a gender issue or not. I'm a female ex-Jehovah's Witness. That's a good point. She is Geeky, because the sisters, because of the asshole Paul, were not allowed to be put in teaching roles. So they had at the side of the stage, they had a table, a little round table, and the sisters would have assignments where they were on like mock Bible studies. So it would be like a sister encouraging another sister to do something, or a sister on a Bible study trying to make them appreciate why. I don't know. I can't even think of it. But they're just like basically situations like a
talking
vignette.
to their kids about something.
Instructing kids, you know, comforting someone who lost a dead. So that's not the same thing, I wouldn't think.
No, it's more of a play than it is a speech.
Something I just remembered this year, just this week, is we were both in the same Bible drama.
We were, yeah. So they have these,
and that's like in front of 20,000 people.
Huge conventions. So there are a couple levels, right? There's the congregation, which is your local.
You got like 100 to 200 people there.
There's assemblies, which
circuit
are
assemblies.
Circuit assemblies, which are kind of like a smaller chunk of the region.
8 and 12 congregations meeting together. So you'd have
1,000, 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Then they have district conventions, which are
multiple circuits,
regional things.
And they would rent out like
stadiums,
like the University of Kentucky's basketball stadium.
I went to one in Anaheim Stadium in San Diego, California, and it was fucking huge. That thing was full.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
So we did a Bible drama, which is a reenactment of biblical scenarios.
Yeah. And I just remember your dad was the fucking like Israeli.
He was like a guard.
That's what I'm saying. He was the Israelite army guy.
He had this leather suit and
fucking helmet and a spear, sandals.
It was pretty amazing. I was King Josiah. At like age 13-ish.
I was 16-year-old King Josiah.
Or maybe I was younger. No, I was younger than that.
Yeah, I thought you were like because you were like 8-year-old Josiah.
Something.
8-year-old was
I was
King
the youngest Josiah.
I can still recite big parts of that. 8 years old was King Josiah when he started ruling. Yeah, it's
pretty fucked.
And I was a 16-year-old, and so I had like
four
a fake goatee
of Josiah. Yep,
wore a dress with sandals, and so the thing is like this would be an hour-long part during. So a district assembly would last between Thursday and Sunday, and it would be 8 to 10-hour days.
Way too long for kids.
Oh yeah, my son hates them.
I fucking hated it.
My son, who's forced to go because his mom's a witness, hates them. But we would put on these sword and sandal, like that was the highlight, and everyone looked forward to it because it's like what passes for entertainment and witness culture.
And the weird thing is, they would mix in like modern day, like
that was the
people
hook.
Teaching their children these stories.
Yeah.
And then like so they'd be in their modern day living room talking to the kids, saying, "Here, learn this lesson," and then we would transition.
And it's just like Bill. Imagine Bill and Ted, where you hear like they would turn the lights off. They would play music like that, and
they would rearrange the furniture.
They'd bring in the fake rocks, and they'd bring in the gold gilded thrones and all that stuff. And then,
the thing is, you can't really hide these people because it's in the middle of a stadium. So you've got all of the actors sitting alongside the stage in chairs, rows and rows of chairs.
And that was part of the fun because when they'd all file in, you'd like, oh, what is this? What's this going to be about? I see that dude looks like a high priest, and there's a slave girl for sure. Is this going to get kinky? What?
No. It would never get kinky. Spoiler alert, it doesn't get kinky.
Ever. No, you don't talk about sex.
No. Didn't they do like I seem to recall John the Baptist with the beheading and everything at one of those.
Probably.
I don't think they obviously didn't have an actual head. They just implied it. But
yeah,
I seem to recall that was one. And we did the Josiah thing. There were a bunch of them.
I remember one time when the Apostle Paul cast out a demon, the sound of them casting out the demon was essentially the exactly same sound of Zelda, of Link picking up multiple rupees in Zelda. You know, like if you ran across like a +60 and you hear this, that was the sound of the exorcism. But the other fuck thing about this, I'm on a roll.
Yeah, we'll get to these other questions.
Is when they don't have, like, this was back in the 80s and 90s, they didn't have lapel mics and shit.
Yeah.
So what they did is the drama had a soundtrack that you lip synced to.
Mm-hmm.
And like the 8-year-old King Josiah sounded like he was a 33-year-old man.
Probably because he was.
He's talking to the high priest. Well, Hilkiah, I just remember how fucked that was.
They need to get the male equivalent of Melissa Hutchinson in there doing the 8-year-old voice.
Oh, let's see what else we got.
Yeah,
we've been doing this for a long time.
It was fun, but it was crazy. It's crazy.
Let's see. She is Geeky comes back for part 2. I'm a bit older than you guys, but my younger sisters absolutely love the Muppet Show, so I watched quite a bit of that when I was at the Becker and Animal are my favorite.
I liked Becker.
Is it Becker or Beaker? Who the hell is Becker?
So there's a show called Becker with fucking Cheers guy.
Yes. Yeah, Ted Danson.
Ted Danson. I really like that show.
I think she's talking about Beaker, though.
Yes, because Becker was much later.
Did you see the Muppet Babies?
I did. I like the Muppet
Their Star
Babies.
Wars parody with Animal Vader.
don't remember that one.
And they had the Death Star that had like the tomato. It instead of a super laser had a tomato, like a Heinz tomato ketchup bottle, and it was going to cover the basketball planet with ketchup. That was pretty good.
There's a lot of crazy Muppet Babies lore out there.
Oh yeah,
like trying to figure out where the Muppet Babies room is in the universe, and like who the mother is,
and trying to figure out how that all fitted in with
how
they're
related. It gets creepy. It gets dark.
Oh my God, here's another good one. Louis Benjamin said the first show I remember watching was Alf. That guy gave me nightmare. Alf gave him because I thought see that. I guess I could.
Yeah,
I loved
Alf. If you're
Alf.
young enough. Yeah, I liked Alf too. I only caught the reruns of that. But
did you see the cartoon where actually it was Alf before he came to Earth? He's on Melmac.
I might have seen like one episode of that.
And it was like kind of similar to the Animaniacs style, kind of slightly adult humor, like or a Ren and Stimpy, where it's funny for kids, but if you're a stoned adult, it's even funnier.
Animaniacs was a great one.
Animaniacs is a great one.
And Pinky and the Brain.
Lots of adult humor in that thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Go on one last. We need to wrap up because we got a bunch of other stuff to do today.
Sure.
Dan G said, "Hey, Arnold and X-Men were my favorites as kids. Yeah, the cons outweigh the pros, but as X-members, I guess it's obvious." Oh, that's for the witness stuff. Yeah. So are you talking, which X-Men are you talking about? Because
cartoon, I think animated.
There was several ones.
What?
Yeah, there was.
I'm thinking 90s.
So there was a Fox action block that had this Jim show, Jim and the Holograms, which was a more girl-oriented entertainment.
Sure,
I can fully recite the theme song. Jim is amazing. Ooh, Jim. And then they'd have the Inhumanoids, which was my personal favorite. These were like scientists that wore battle armor and then delved into the depths of the earth to fight fundamental forces, like
like gravity.
no, like there was like this guy named Magnar or something, and he was like a magma monster, and then there was Tendril, which was a plant monster, Decompose, who represented this forces of death, and then there was this one Magnacor, I think, where he was like two forces that joined together. He had magnet forces, but that was super cool, and like the art was cool, and the action figures were really cool. But one of the rotations, they had an X-Men show, and it was narrated by Stan fucking Lee, and it to my day is I think the coolest version of the X-Men, because I don't
remember that
the
one.
X-Men cartoon that came out in the 90s. I was too old for. I was
just the right age for that.
I
was like young teens, early preteens, or late preteens rather.
I have every issue of the X-Men from about 1983 to 97, except for the first appearance of Gambit, which I sold when I was in high school.
$20.
No, for like $75. It's worth like 100 something now. Maybe more. But I one of these days I'm gonna have to go and see which ones are, because that's a lot of like Chris Claremont's glory years.
Dig them out for the studio.
Lots of Jim Lee.
You should put them all up on the wall. Like,
be a cool idea. I've got tons of comics, man, like boxes this big long, like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Magic cards too,
because I got into reading comic books because for some reason that like went under my mom's radar.
Comic books?
For banning. I don't know why, but she's like, I guess because she grew up and is all Superman and Batman. Like,
yeah,
I cut my teeth on comics when they were starting to buck the code.
Like the Punisher.
The Punisher War Journal. Hell yeah, man.
And Spawn. Remember fucking Spawn?
Now,
that was
I've got
early 90s.
I've got like the first 20 issues of Spawn.
All right. Spawn was the first time I remember going, oh shit, this is a no bullshit comic.
Spawn frightened me reading it. I thought I was demonizing my house, and I didn't care because the art and story were too cool.
I have a few more shows to talk about real quick.
Okay.
Kind of in the same breath here, Power Rangers, and then there was I never really got into Power Rangers, but I'd watch it kind of as a lark.
Yeah, I did. I watched a lot too because my brother and sister liked it.
And then
Pink Ranger.
One of the Power Ranger wannabes was Beetleborgs. Do you remember Beetleborgs? Dude, it was basically the Power Rangers, except they turned into like they like kind of turn into beetles, like when they come together in this big
formed
thing.
the Zord.
Instead, I think they formed beetles. like different colored beetles, and they would fight monsters.
That's a
like,
cyclical thing, though, because I was inoculated against Power Rangers because I grew up watching Voltron.
Sure.
And Voltron, I'm the rare bird that prefers the vehicle-based Voltron.
I don't know.
Because it was less magical. It was more technological. It had a bigger team. Instead of just having 5 dudes, it was like, I don't know, 12. And I thought the Voltron looked cooler, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, Power Rangers was just that, only stupider live-action version.
Yeah. I can see why you wouldn't like that. The last show I want to talk about, My Secret Identity. Do you remember this show?
I do not.
My Secret Identity
sounds like a Nickelodeon kid spy show.
It is. Well, kind of. It's not a spy show. It's a superhero show. So Jerry O'Connell, one of his first appearances that I remember.
This is before Sliders?
Way before Sliders.
Okay.
He's a kid.
I'm passingly familiar.
He's a young kid. He's
Sliders.
chubby. So I think the premise is that air friction does not affect him.
Okay.
And so he was fast, like he could run around and do things real fast, like the Flash. And then he also had, I guess he figured this out somewhere in the first episode, that he could take
aerosol
spray cans
and
I do remember this and float around.
I do remember this.
It was the dumbest premise ever, but it was awesome. I loved it as a kid.
So the reason I don't know more about that in Sliders is because I believe those were basic cable shows.
It might have been. I don't know.
And my dad, to this day, refuses to pay for cable. I did not have basic cable until I moved out of my house and got it for myself years and years later.
Wow.
Like I did. So I like never got to see MTV, never got to see Nickelodeon like that. You can't do that on television and all that stuff. I don't get any of that shit.
Double Dare? Did you get
No,
Double
that's
Dare?
Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
I know about it. I know of it because
I watched Double Dare all the time.
I bet. Everyone did.
Love that shit.
So between the religious bullshit and my dad being cheap, I have vast swaths of pop culture that didn't. I was talking about this with my girlfriend. My dad is so cheap, he refused to buy VCR forever and ever and ever. My mom would beg him, and then she would rent. Like, do you remember Kroger's, the grocery store, used to rent movies?
Oh yeah.
They'd also rent for like $15 a VCR, this big, giant, built into an armored suitcase VCR.
Yep.
My mom would get that like once every other month or so, and like a bunch of shitty movies. Like she would love to like rent collections of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, wholesome shit like that. And
God damn,
we were required to watch this stuff. And you can imagine, because I was like 13 or 14 at the time, that was hell.
Yeah.
Having to sit with my family to watch Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. No, but My Secret Identity, man. I like that show a lot when I was a kid. First appearance I remember of Jerry O'Connell. I've pretty much liked him ever since.
All right. What's he been in lately?
I don't think anything lately. Okay. Certainly not that I've seen.
So you tapped that as a child star.
Yeah, but I mean, you get into Sliders. I fucking love Sliders. It was amazing. And I watched it recently, and it still kind of holds up.
Does it?
Yeah. And then there's, it holds up in the same way that like Quantum Leap holds up.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty good. And then, he goes into like Scream, and he starts his movie career and all that stuff.
There's a lot of other stuff that I liked as a young adult. We could fill up a bunch of like Space Above and Beyond. Do you remember that show? That was like a 1-season show about mankind in the future fighting this vague threat.
There was like Earth Final Conflict.
The first season, that I still think is amazing.
I remember thinking it was good, and then I fell off of it, and then
they just completely changed it in season 2. Like they get that completely turned over, and it became a wholly different show. And I stopped watching it. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, we could fill 5 hours with this shit. I'm sure we'll do this again.
We'll have to dust it back up. Maybe we can do a deep dive on 1 or 2 and actually, because you can get a lot of shit just up on YouTube, man.
If people want to like go on the forums and say, hey, here's some shows that we loved, because we didn't get a whole lot of response here, but like here's shows I love. Maybe we'll come back and revisit this. Yeah.
So
VIP that up.
Wes Stevens says, I'm seriously amazed how cool you both turned out after all of this.
After missing out on G.I. Joe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's true.
Shit, I missed so much as a kid.
Because that was because my mom didn't let me watch anything with martial arts because it was violent, and 2, it had some kind of mysticism.
I don't know why I wasn't allowed to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really don't, because my dad watched kung fu movies all the time, and I watch those with him.
Well, like I said, there was something about like, yo, if you channel chi and you do Zen, and it's
And
false,
who's this
it's
rat
pagan.
guy?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, masters. People are calling him master. There's only one master, God.
Yeah.
Do you remember our friend Peter's, his mom, how mad she got at us out in service because we were talking about VGA planets, and we're talking about, and she got just on this tirade about, you guys are talking about ruling the universe. There's only one universal. It's like she just went off on this.
Oh my God.
We're just like, okay, we'll just wait for this, because his mom is crazy even by our mom's standards.
Oh yeah. Like if I were to rank them, I'd say my mom is least crazy.
Yes,
your mom is second crazy by a large margin.
Yeah, there's like a big gap there.
And then even a larger margin is Peter's mom. Yeah. Whew.
Well, thanks for taking us down in memory lane, guys. We will see you back next week, most likely, hopefully a better video. Increasingly a better video.
We're getting ready to do an Americans cast here, so
another 15, 20 minutes after we reset, get some feedback compiled and get our notes together. Maybe longer. I haven't done any of that shit.
I don't think there's much feedback for this show. So
that's one of the problems with it. But anyway, we will see you guys next week. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.